good morning. How is everyone doing? Thank you so much for waking up with us and just share your beautiful Friday with our community. So what you just heard, I hope that just like woke you up even more. That is Okan Music. It's a local band from Toronto, and they fuse Afro-Cuban roots with jazz, folk, and global rhythms in songs about immigration, bravery, and love. And I am so thrilled to introduce them to you. We're gonna be listening to a bit more of their just vibrant music. Let's hit it, Dorothy. 1 second. We're gonna play a video for you.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks so much for having us here. And this is Okan, an Afro-Cuban band based in Toronto, Canada. We are very, very, very happy to present to you our song Mercedes, which is Epilon. And do you want to talk a little bit about Epilon?
Yeah, sure. It's a beautiful genre, very popular in the 60s in Cuba. Danceable, totally danceable. And the dances actually mimic the movement from the women at the coffee plantations, the movement from their hips. So it became a big deal, a big thing. So we hope you guys like it. You get to enjoy the whole thing, right?
The whole band with a special guest, Alexis Baró, on trumpet. So enjoy. Mercedes.
Yeah.
Se comenta ¿Qué? Un chisme que no está claro. A mí no me crean mucho, pero eso fue lo que contaron. A mí se le cogieron el pescado. De gratis, ¿qué? A mí se le cogieron el pescado. No seas descarado. A mí se le cogieron el pescado. Mira cómo ando. A mí se le cogieron el pescado. Dicen que anda regalando algo de mucho valor. Dicen que anda regalando algo de mucho valor. Cuando pasas por su lado, vas a sentir el olor. A mí se le cogieron el pescado. Oh, a mí se le cogieron el pescado. Mira que eres carepalo. A mí se le cogieron el pescado. A mí se le cogieron el pescado. ¿A cuánta gente se lo dio? Se lo brindó el bodeguero y el taxista se lo dio. También comió el panadero y hasta el de la construcción. Vio que le daba dinero. Eso de ser bondadosa, Mercedes no es poca cosa, su pecado es primero. A Mercedes le cogieron el pescado. Oye, mira, a Mercedes le cogieron los mandados. A Mercedes le cogieron el pescado. Y no se lo pidieron prestado. A Mercedes le cogieron el pescado. Te conozco bacalao. A Mercedes le cogieron el pescado. Aunque venga disfrazado. A Mercedes le cogieron el pescado. Si tú se lo pides crudo, te lo brinda cocinado. A Mercedes le cogieron el pescado. Mercedes la de pescado, la de pollo embolotado. Pollo por pescado. Se le cogieron el pescado. Por ahí viene Mercedes con tremendo tumbao. Mercedes, la cosa está mala, mulata zaramera, tremenda cubana, con tanta calidad, la de tu pescado fresco, seguro faltan eso que quieras saborear. Pero no, chica, que va, tú tienes que parar, no es regalado y punto, provocas el disgusto de que lo probó sincero, quiso comerlo de nuevo, fíjate si le ha cogido hasta el gusto. Óyeme, mulata bonita, si lo da, ¿pa' qué se lo quita? Reparte, parejo mi niña, que pescado está perdido en la isla, lúchalo. Si lo quieres comer el ceviche, frito, salsa, grillé. Y si quieres algo más fino, nene, dale sushi, merced. El pescado, el pescado, el pescado, el pescado, el pescado, el pescado. ¿Qué le cogieron? A mí me dijeron que lo tiene ya gastado, te lo das a regalar. Me lo dijo un babalao que la vio de medio lado. Ay, Mercedita, ay, qué bonita.
Yes. Woo! Oh my God, that was so refreshing. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you want to listen to more of Okan's music, they are on Instagram. Sagar is posting about them right now in the chat. So you can follow them. Okan Music Cuba is their Instagram. And just send over some good vibes, and thanks for sending us that amazing video. Right now, it has come the time to present our star speaker. This is my friend Katy Prince. I'm so happy you said yes. She is actually connecting from Brighton, UK, because she used to live in Toronto. You can tell us more about that, Katy, but I'm gonna just tell you a little bit about her. So Katy is an ethical copywriting expert, sales coach, who is the founder and CEO of the Squirm-Free School of Business. And some of the main topics that she talks about is how to close high ticket sales without being icky, pushy, or compromising your values and beliefs, and also the impact of gendered language in marketing. So welcome, Katy. Thank you so much for being here. We can't wait to hear from you.
Ma, thank you so much for having me. I am absolutely thrilled to be here. I am so excited, and yeah, let's get it going. Oh, I can see you all saying hi in the chat. Hello. Yeah, definitely use the chat. I'm a big fan of chats on Zoom calls. But I wanted to kick off by asking you if you know the feeling when you arrive in a brand new city and you feel that bustling energy. Yeah, that bustling, unfamiliar energy. There are tall buildings towering over you. You've got the feeling of other people's busyness rushing past you as you try to orient yourself and get your bearings. You're overwhelmed by all the new sounds, the whoosh of the unfamiliar streetcar, the beeps of people's horns, the sirens in the distance. They all sound a little bit different here. New smells are filling your nostrils. The taste of the air fizzles differently on your tongue. And as you look up, struggling to make out what that sign says in an unfamiliar typeface and work out which way you're supposed to be going through the crowd of people thronging around you, gradually you're able to start picking out individual faces one by one, and you realize you're not alone here. So good morning, everybody. As Ma very kindly said, I am Katy Prince. I am a former freelance copywriter turned sales coach. And I'm also the founder at the Squirm-Free School of Business, where my team and I, we do a number of things. We work with freelancers, we work with agency owners, consultants, people building communities, and we help them develop their business and grow their B2B sales in an ethical way, a squirm-free way, as Ivan very kindly mentioned. So my approach to sales and business is all about squirm-free. And you might be thinking, what in the heck is that? What does squirm-free mean? And to me, it's about being ick-free, cliche-free, pressure-free, gender-free. and with plenty of space to be yourself, work within your own values and beliefs, and get results without having to compromise who you are and how you operate. So that's my style of sales coaching, Squirm-Free. I support people to learn the art of enrollment and business development without pressure, without shame, and without those kind of FOMO-driven tactics that are traditionally taught. So I am absolutely obsessed, and I mean obsessed, with helping creatives and helping business owners do two things: make money and make a difference as they're doing it. And isn't it so funny how these things so often go hand in hand when done right? So a little bit more about me. I use pronouns she and her. And right now I am, as Mar said, based over here in Brighton on the south coast of the UK. Back in my former life and my previous day jobs, I did all things sales and marketing for a number of independent brands across the UK, everything from music festival scene to software as a service, organic food sector, sustainable restaurant chains. And then in 2017, I swiped right, and 5 months later, I'd agreed to marry my now husband and up sticks and move across the globe to Toronto, Canada with him. Which brings me to that moment that I stepped out of Union Station and instantly felt that overwhelming feeling of being somewhere new and big. I had decided to leave my very fun job, which also happened to have very terrible pay, back behind me in the UK. And I just started winging it, really, as a freelance copywriter. I was doing remote work. I had a couple of clients back in the UK who were paying me peanuts, and not very often. And here I was in a new city of 3 million plus people. And yet, other than my partner, I didn't know a soul. Oh, and I forgot to mention, I was also completely skint at the time, which is Brit speak for broke. So as I went about making connections, that empty bank account and that lack of, any connection to get me started, it took a lot of options off the table for me. And I'd have loved to have booked a bunch of conference and event tickets. I'd have loved to have joined a gym, hung out, sipping lattes in all the nice coffee shops, waiting to strike up conversation. But all of those usual routes to connection were off the table, much like they are now, right? So there I was, seeking connection, seeking community, but with a lot of the major avenues closed. And then one day, by pure chance, and chance can be such a magical thing, can it not? I ended up being shown an ad. I think it was a Facebook ad I got shown for an app called Buns. Perhaps you know it. It's kind of like Bumble, but for stuff. And unlike Facebook Marketplace, no money changes hands. It's all done through trades. So perfect. I think to myself, I'm going to set up a bunch of trades, and that is going to give me the chance to meet some people, get to know my way around the city. This is the perfect plan. Only it had a flaw. Because having just moved from the UK, I had one suitcase worth of stuff, and I kind of needed to hold on to it. I wasn't willing to let any of it go for trades. So I did what anyone would do. And I, of course, immediately took a trip down to Marshall's, and I bought a set of baking tins. Yeah, that's right, baking tins. Followed by a trip to Bulk Barn, where I loaded up on ingredients. And I started baking cakes to trade. And I did. In fact, I traded a lot of them. For a while, I even started trending on the app. After all, these were very trendy cakes. And you know what? The more I traded, the more connections I made. The more people reached out to me, the more subway stations I remembered the names of. I even started to recognize a few faces as I walked down Broad Street. And with this new confidence, these new connections, this new certainty, as I navigated this brand new overwhelming city, I started to put myself out there more. I would raise my hand at events. I would speak up and pitch myself at free events like these. I hustled every single co-working space in the GTA for a free trial day before eventually setting up an energy exchange full-time over at Make Lemonade. I think the folks from Make Lemonade are here in the chat, but from there, my connections, they only grew more quickly. I found this fantastic niche and very quickly grew to being an in-demand copywriter working for these incredible, inspiring women-owned brands who wanted to write in this, now what I call squirm-free way. So our theme today is divergent. And now that I've shared with you my divergent story of how I got to grips with the city of Toronto, I now want to share with you a divergent way of connecting with others. So more than one, in fact, 6. Because now that you are managing your team online, you are networking online like we are right now, you're selling your services, your products, your software online, it means that we need to take a divergent approach. We got to get creative. So how can we still be high touch, even when our perhaps preferred options are temporarily off the table? You know, we can't shake people's hand, we can't look them in the eye, we can look them in the webcam, but it means we can't see their face. So I want to know how, I want to talk about how can we nurture relationships, whether it's for the purpose of sales or whether it's the purpose of team, without taking people out for dinner or hanging out at conferences, doing all those lovely things. So let's get a quick show of hands in the comments. How many of you came here today because above all else, you are seeking connection? How many of you? Give me a quick yes in the comments. Yeah. Great. Amazing. Oh, wow. That's a lot of yeses for sure. Well, you came to the right place. I'm glad that we did the breakout rooms. That works so well. Okay, fantastic. So I'm going to share with you now 6 lockdown friendly tips to make more meaningful connections in just 15 minutes per day. So let's have a little jump in to the old screen share. We can all see my screen. Can I get a quick thumbs up, Ma? Is that good? Great.
Yeah, it's good.
Fantastic. And I want you to, as I'm taking you through these tips, I want you to not just think about sales. If you are selling a service or, selling, or you pitch to clients, you're selling ideas, fantastic. But I also want you to take these on for building client relationships, your sales process, sure, connecting with your team, touching base with sources of referrals, affiliates, strengthening new connections. You came here because you're seeking connections. So how are we going to strengthen those? All right. Oh, yes. There we go. This is what you're going to use them for. Recap. All right, so the first lockdown friendly tip is to, first of all, make sure that you are using all of your communication. Normally, when we can meet people in person, we have so much more information about how that person is communicating, right? And now switching over to constant Slack messages and email, is it any wonder that we're feeling perhaps a little bit disconnected? Did you know that only 7% of our communication is given through the words we use? Only 7%. 38% is the tonality, the volume, the speed, the range in our voice. And 55%, a whopping 55%, is our physiology. So our facial expressions, our body language. Are we open? Are we closed? And so using all of your communication, even when we are physically distant, is going to be a game changer. And I've got some tips for you to put this into action. Isn't that wild? Only 7% your words. 55%, over half, is coming from your body language and from your facial expressions. So it becomes pretty clear that we need to find a way to get our body language, our facial expressions across. So I would love to invite you to start, if you haven't already done this. Next time you're about to send an email, send a video. Yeah, send someone a video using Loom, using Bonjoro, using BombBomb. In fact, Ma, isn't that how we came up with the topic for today's talk? Ma reached out to me by email and I hit reply with a video and said, oh, I'm so excited. I would love to. And I was able to fully express my excitement. And she was able to feel that in a way that she just wouldn't have been able to had I written, I'm so excited, even with an emoji. But there are some fantastic apps that are completely free. So Loom is one of my favorites. You can use Bonjoro, you can use BombBomb. And next time that you are reaching out to give someone on your team a piece of feedback or tell them that they've done a great job, next time you are connecting with someone who has just subscribed to your email list or, recently entered your sales pipeline, take 60 seconds and send them a short video and watch what an impact it makes on that relationship. Don't like video? No worries. Why not switch it over to voice notes? Who here is already using voice notes in their DMs? Who here is already using voice notes in your DMs? Yeah, so good, right? And what an amazing difference it makes. How much more do you feel like you know that other person when you get to hear their voice? How much closer do you feel to that person when you get to hear their voice? It's one thing when you see like a little circle, a little profile picture with someone's face, or a little square on a Zoom call, like we are now. But when you can hear someone's voice, you can hear their genuine interest in what it is that you're doing right now. What if you were to reach out to your warmest leads with a voice note today and say, hey, I was just thinking about you. How are you getting on with that thing we talked about 3 months ago? Isn't that going to make so much more of an impact for them than if you were to just shoot them an email? So use voice notes in your DMs, or why not suggest taking the chat over to Voxer? Fourth, be friendly and generous in the comments at virtual events like these. Don't be afraid to wave at people across the virtual room, at people you know, right? Say hi, tag them, offer generous suggestions. And by generous, I mean, participate fully and contribute. It can make a huge difference. You would be amazed at how much you stand out just by being friendly and helpful in the comments at events like these. If you want to make sure that people know who you are, change your Zoom name so that it has your Twitter handle or your Instagram handle in. But being friendly and being proactive, participating fully at virtual events like these, you will be amazed at what an impression you leave on others. Getting Zoom fatigue? I feel you. I feel you, me too. So something else that I've been getting more into throughout lockdown, I mean, we're coming on for 12 months now, which is just absolutely bonkers, is sending physical gifts and handwritten notes in the mail. When was the last time that you got a piece of mail that you were actually excited to open, that didn't come from Amazon and that, wasn't in like a brown envelope? Yeah, exactly. Wouldn't it be like, what do you think is going to reignite that maybe slightly fizzled out sales relationship more? Is it going to be a quick email or a message on LinkedIn? Or is it going to be a handwritten postcard that arrives at their door? Yeah. And lastly, I want this sixth tip applies to all of these. Be succinct. Be succinct. This is one of the kindest things you can do for anyone you are seeking to build a connection with right now, whether that is a sales relationship, whether that's a networking relationship, whether that's a referral relationship, whether it's with an existing client, whether it's with a member of your team. Be succinct. People's chunks are well and truly full right now. I can't take on any more information right now. We're wearing all of these hats. We're wearing them all at once. We've got kids in the background. We've got pets that are bored and annoying us, and we're thinking about rehoming. No. And you know what? Our chunks are full. So be succinct. None of these videos, these voice notes, these handwritten notes, they don't need to be War and Peace. 60 seconds or less is all we need. And above all, be generous as you do all of these things. The theme today was divergent, or is divergent. And that, to me, that means doing things differently, straying from the norm. And who the heck are we kidding? There is no norm anymore, is there? Just when we think we've got one, it changes again. And the reality is that over the past year, we have been repeatedly told and conditioned to, and instructed, in fact, to self-isolate, to remain distant, to physically maintain space around ourselves. And if we don't think that that's having a knock-on effect on our business relationships, who are we trying to kid? So my request of you, yes, I have a request of you. My request of you is this. After we wrap up here today, would you be willing to set aside 15 minutes and go and build a high-touch connection with someone you met here today? Send them a Loom video after you connect with them on LinkedIn. DM them and ask them for their mailing address so that you can pop them a postcard. Or if they're not comfortable with that, ask for their email so you can send them a coffee. Send some voice notes next time instead of that email. And let this be your new habit, your new 15 minutes a day habit. One video, one voice note, one handwritten card, and form more meaningful connections. And if you'd like to connect with me, then let's make sure that we connect meaningfully. So you can find me in all the places, either via my personal handle, it's Katy Prince on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn, or you can connect with my whole team via Squirm-Free School of Business. If you go to our Facebook or Instagram page, you can also WhatsApp us, so you can leave us a lovely voice note that's longer than the 60 seconds that Zuckerberg permits us. And I look forward to connecting with each and every one of you. So that's all from me. Thank you very much. I would love to open the floor for any questions or discussion.
Thank you, Katy. Thank you. Oh my God, Katy. Come on. I know this is just such a small snippet from your wisdom. If you really want to know more of these amazing tips, you have to follow her and check out her School of Business. Yeah, give us some clapping, video clapping, and just we're gonna be heading now to our Q&A with Ivan. But I just wanted to say, Katy, yeah, like Christine, like Ashley said in the chat, the minute you walked in Make Lemonade, which is where I met you, you were like just shining and just spreading out your good vibes. And I hope you keep on doing that and just keep sharing these amazing tips. I love the fact that you want us to connect even more. Just like these simple recommendations are amazing, and we're gonna put them into work in our Creative Mornings community, just starting off now. So let's hear from our audience right now.
Yes, hello. Okay, I actually have a few Oh, we just got one now, but I have a few in my DMs that I wanted to pass over to Katy. So Katy, first of all, great job. Thank you so much for the sales tips. Okay, so I have a couple of questions ranging from all over the place. Question one is, what is your camera setup? Because one person sent me a message saying, what is that awesome camera? Because you got like a shallow depth of field. It looks like I'm watching a TV show right now.
Oh, wow. Thank you. Yeah, there is a bit of a setup over here because of the pandemic. I have been filming all of my like course and program modules here at home. So this was part of the pivot, but I use the A10 Mini Stream Deck, and that is plugged into my Sony cam that has a low aperture something lens on that I immediately retracted in case it was wrong, but I can find the details for you and pop them in the chat before we wrap up today.
And so there was a follow-up to that. I love it, because how important is having that kind of like nice setup and background because you were talking about using all your communications, and we are becoming less and less camera shy, but how important is it to have like that super like hardcore like professional background? Or can I just kind of like right now on my phone and not saying I slept in this sweater, I'm not saying that, but
you're not saying that you didn't.
I'm not saying that I didn't, however.
I mean, you know what, like I think the most important thing is that people can see you properly, and actually having some lighting is more important than having a high quality camera. Most of the cameras that are in a laptop, they're kind of good enough. If you can stretch to a USB webcam, then I definitely recommend the Logitech Brio. This is like my normal camera. This is my fancy camera that I've got on, but I also have this one plugged in, which is kind of like a little bit more normal, but it still kind of frames me quite nicely. And you can, actually sort of see someone properly. The most important thing is to have good lighting so that people can see you. You don't have to have a big fancy schmancy setup. Ivan.
Ivan, he's just I believe he's having trouble with the internet. That's why he had to move to his phone. But don't worry, I have a question for you. So you were talking about like sending videos and sending voice notes and all this kind of virtual strategies, but what do you think about like traditional calls? Like, would you think that that's would make people feel weird just to have a...
I mean, I don't know about you, Ma, but I think maybe this is a 2021 thing. Maybe this is a millennial thing, but I'm willing to bet that this is pretty universal. If someone calls me without me knowing that they're going to call me, kind of freaks me out. Yeah. I would like, even my mum knows to like text me first at this point. Okay. And yeah, I think there's, there really is something to that. I think especially in what we used to call unprecedented times, and now it's called like life. We are wearing, as I said, so many different hats at once. And whilst, normally we used to be perhaps compartmentalize a little bit more, like, this morning I'm working on my business, or this morning I'm doing client work, and this afternoon I'm, doing business development. And then in the evening, I'm going to spend time with my kids, time with my partner, time with my friends. Now everything is all meshed together and blurred and on top of each other, right? And I think it's really important to respect the fact that people have a lot on their plate, like a lot. And if you want to pick up the phone, fantastic. And I think there's real value in just checking in small chunks first and asking permission for that. In fact, asking permission and sort of having consent-led relationships is a huge part of what we teach inside of my Squirm-Free Sales Masters program, which if anyone is curious about that, just shoot me a voice note or send me a little video and ask me about it. But yeah, I think phone calls are great, and we need to understand that like people are communicating in different ways now because of the amount of stuff that they have on their plate. And if you're just ringing people up, it's perhaps going to add to their anxiety rather than alleviate it.
Yeah, we're getting comments on the chat saying like, I think it's depending on the person, because sometimes I don't know if it's like a close friend. We were actually trying to put this in practice, my husband and I, like, let's call our friends more because we don't call each other anymore, right? Like, and he has been like calling, and I was like, of course this person is gonna think that you're wanting something from them, you know, like some business or something. And he said probably at the beginning yes, but in the end, if they find out that no, I'm just calling to say hi, how have you been, and it's gonna make the relationship get closer. And just like, some people can feel weird, and definitely a small, like a quick test before is a good idea. So I think depending on the person, if it's like a business thing or like a friends thing, right? And we have a question here from,
and I'm back, by the way, Mar, just so you know.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
We missed you. So the other question I saw, it was like, how might a major introvert break through the putting yourself out there fear?
Yeah, 100%. And do you know what? If you are an introvert, if you identify as an introvert, if maybe you're feeling more introverted than you have done in a while, then you actually have a real advantage at the moment. A real advantage at the moment, because extroverts like me are so starved of the interaction that we crave right now, that when we do come into an interaction, perhaps, and I'm not speaking for every extrovert, but I'm just being honest, like I can be self-aware, you kind of explode, have a tendency to kind of explode into interactions. And so I can see some like nodding faces, like, yep, been doing that. And yeah, so when you are, Alicia Martin puts us in a nutshell, that's hilarious. So when you are more introverted, this actually gives you a really great advantage, because you can kind of take baby steps, small steps, one step at a time to warm up a relationship. And you are much less likely to overwhelm the other person or kind of intrude on the other person. And they'll probably be very, very receptive to the way you communicate. So perhaps it's going to go something like this. You know, you're introverted, you've met someone here today, and you go and look them up on LinkedIn and you send them a request. They accept, you shoot them a little message and go, thanks so much for accepting. I wanted to send you a quick hello note. Would that be okay? Ask for permission. Nice. And then when they say, oh yeah, that would be great, then, you know, you get to have a little bit more, you can take a bit more time and care over constructing that. You don't have to worry about someone else speaking over you. You don't have to worry about being interrupted. You can do it a couple of times if you feel the need to. And you can get that conversation started in a very intimate way with, 30 seconds of messing around in the comfort of your own home with an app like Loom or Bonjoro, and then send it off. And wow, they have an incredible impression, and it hasn't felt intense for that other person, So if you're an introvert right now, you have the upper hand. I hope that helps.
Yeah. It's funny enough, because the other question that I had was, I'm huge on voice stuff. I do little voice messages on LinkedIn. I do voice messages on Instagram. A lot of people don't know you can do that, but you can send little voice messages. Someone asked, and I've never heard of Loom, Bonjoro, BombBomb. I've never heard of any of these things. I know WhatsApp, and that's it. I'm a WhatsApper. I think what would be the advantages of, say, those versus a like Google Hangouts or Zoom? What do those do that's different from other video conferencing solutions that makes them better for kind of breaking the ice or meeting people?
Yeah, it's bite size, right? It's bite size.
Oh.
And people can, if you're setting up a Zoom call or you're requesting a Google Hangout, you kind of have to set up a meeting, or, there's kind of some prep there, and it feels a bit more official. And when you can just shoot someone a quick voice note or send them a little 60-second video, you can send it at a time that suits you, because we're all context shifting constantly at the moment, and we're tired, are we not? Who else is tired constantly? It's really exhausting surviving a pandemic, is it not? And so we get to have that communication that's still high touch on our own terms, and they get to retain their boundaries and they can digest it on their own terms and respond. So it was so cool when Mara and I were communicating to set up this. I'm here in the UK, so I'm 5 hours ahead of you. It's 2:30 in the afternoon for me. And, and Ma, you were abroad, weren't you? You were in Mexico.
Yeah. And I sent you a shitty video.
Yeah, and it was awesome because, and it came through for me in the middle of the night. I watched it the next morning, then I sent you one back, and we're having like this lovely high touch, very personal communication, but that actually fits in with our life and means we don't have to do another Zoom meeting.
Yeah.
I like that. You know what? You sold me.
Way.
Yeah.
Success.
I sold you. The names again, just because someone just asked.
What I'll do is I'll just flash up the slide again,
Sure,
so that you can take a look.
And as Katy is doing that, we're going to make sure to share Katy's information so we can connect with her if you want to find out more about the program she offers. That'll be awesome. There's the info. Screenshot. Everybody screenshot.
There's my info. If you want to screenshot that. And then, so the apps are Loom, Bonjoro, or BombBomb.
I'd also love to screenshot the first one, the summary of your points.
Mm-hmm. So you can use these for client relationship. I'll send these over to you, Mara, if you want to share them in the Creative Mornings Slack channel. That's absolutely fine by me.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Katy. Because Katy can't see all of us, let's all give her a big round of applause by everyone getting on the keyboard and give her your best round of gibberish. Everyone give her your best round of just gibberish. Look at the love. Look at the love. Katy, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. This was so much fun. This is how you do it.
Right.